And you're unhappy.
Everyone's unhappy. You're unhappy, aren't you?
Agnes?
Aren't you?
Sometimes.
Only you think you're lucky because you didn't have a mother that said things or did things to you that sometimes weren't always nice, but that's what you think, because what you don't know is that my mother was a wonderful person, but even if you did know, you wouldn't believe it because you think she's bad. Don't you?
Agnes?
Answer me! You never answer me!
I'm Corina and welcome to Her Salti Words. Hey, welcome back. I'm glad you're hanging out with us today on this episode of Her Salti Words. My special guest today is Laura Mason. She's just an amazing human being. And I say human because I'm noticing that is something that's sort of a theme that is arising in each of the episodes. In the question that I sort of pose out there for us to discuss regarding how do we address getting our voices heard or getting more female stories out there, I'm noticing that within the answers, this idea of humanity and just being human and stripping away that gender role or the language that assigns us, either roles, whether it be in gender, whether it be in what we should be doing in a household or however that may look like, stripping it down to just humanity. And I find that fascinating. I think that's something that's worth exploring and continuing to listen to. What would it look like if we redirect that language that assigns roles for each individual in whatever capacity or level it is, and we just look at each other as humans? And I love the word human too, because it encompasses everything. It takes away almost pressure. It takes away any form of hierarchy because we are essentially equal in that. For some reason, it also makes me think of Star Trek. So I think I'm going to listen to that more and see what arises. And you do too. What are you noticing in these episodes? What other themes or things that are popping out? I'd love to hear from you. So, if you want to leave a comment, that would be awesome. Let's talk a little bit about Laura Mason and all the great work that she's done and is currently doing. Laura is a 3-time Best Actress Award recipient for The Swallow, A Life Less Fabricated, and Blind Steel. Blind Steel is the one that I had a short scene with her in, and that was just a lot of fun. So you'll see me gush a little bit about it. Laura also is involved in independent films. She does numerous regional commercials. She's in music videos, does radio voiceover work, and is a spokesperson for several promotional videos. She also does professional modeling, and I'm going to share some of those pictures. She's a spokesmodel, and she's also done numerous calendar shoots, and her work has been published in several national magazines, so do check out her work. In the notes section, I'll put ways that you can reach out to her and connect, and also check out additional work on her website. Now, before we jump in and hear her just really fantastic story of how she really found a way to be grounded and connected, and her wonderful relationship with her kids and husband, subscribe and give 5 stars to this podcast so we can continue hearing all of the great stories that are from just amazing women. If you could also subscribe, and I think I already said that, but just in case. And then on Why You Gotta Be So Salty, the YouTube channel, if you could subscribe and like and share, that would be fantastic as well. So any of those, whether it's on the podcast, Her Salti Words, or on the YouTube channel, Why You Gotta Be So Salty, that would be awesome. And I look forward to you enjoying this episode. So let's jump in. And thanks for hanging out. And I look forward to seeing and hearing you next time. I'm so excited to hang out with you today and just just pick your brain on a few topics and things and get to know you a little bit better. And of course, share out there, what an amazing human you are and all the great things you're doing.
Thank you.
Because you and I first met when we did a short film for I-84. I think, gosh, it was like back in 2016 or something, 2014, 2015.
I don't even remember, to be honest.
Gosh.
Was it the Brandon Freeman film, what was that? The workout?
Actors Workout.
Actors Work. Yeah.
Yeah. It was, and it was so much fun. And you won Best Actress that year it was Blind Steel. And and all of us just kind of jumped in and participated and then worked behind the scenes as well. And I really liked our scene that we did.
Yeah.
Because you're like, you're needing this envelope from me. And I'm like, I'm like in my zone and I'm depressed and you're not giving me the signal. And then you're like, give it to me now, woman. And I'm like, whatevs.
That was great.
It was a good one.
That was a fun part to play with everyone.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Like, how did Idaho become home base, or was it always home base? And how did you end up settling here?
So I grew up in Tillamook, Oregon, just right off the coast, and then went to U of O, University of Oregon, and there I met my husband. And so after I graduated, he had a job here in Idaho, and I never really I heard about Idaho, but I didn't really know anything about it. Never been here.
Yeah.
And we got married. I moved here and been here ever since. I love it. It has the 4 seasons. It's a beautiful area, wonderful people. So yeah.
That's fantastic. At U of O, what did you study?
Well, I started out as studying dance and theater, and but I ended up getting my minor in dance. I thought I was going to be a dance teacher, but I ended up getting a major in sociology. And
nice.
I actually am a social worker here currently. So
nice. All of that fits very well
Yeah,
with your compassion and your ability to connect with people. So that makes sense.
Well, thanks.
And so in dance, what type of dance?
Well, I've danced all my life. I did tap, jazz, modern, ballet. I did all types because you have to learn all that in college. But my favorite was jazz. That was, just getting up in front of the crowd and just performing. And so that's where I found my love of performance and being in front and on stage and entertaining. I love moving in my body and telling a story in that way. And so that is where kind of acting started, when I realized I love dance and I love entertaining, but I also love telling that story in my dance. Mm-hmm. And so when I started acting in high school plays, and that's where I really found that love of acting. But I really love being on camera more than I do actually on stage, because on camera film, I feel like I can really be that true person, really feel that emotion. I don't have to make sure my voice is loud and that person way in the back can hear me.
Right.
I'm just in the zone. I don't have to worry. I know that the camera's going to catch whatever they catch, and that's up to the behind the scenes of capturing those moments. Where on stage, it's just a different feel. It's really fun. I love being on stage too. Don't get me wrong, but I would prefer film acting because I can really channel that person and be that person.
Well, and then the amount of takes that is available too. You can do multiple takes if it didn't, work out, or you're like, I know I can do better on the next one, or
right. Of course, you make a mistake, you can't go, stop, audience.
Right.
Wait, I messed up.
I just need a quick pause. Just let me collect myself.
Nope, I'm live. So. And I still love dance. I mean, back to that whole dance thing, and I still love performing in dance, and I would love to be on stage one day performing in that manner too. But anyways, the calling of maybe being a dance teacher just didn't really fit who I am, and I don't know. I teach in other ways, I guess.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I hear you on that. So what inspired you then to kind of go also in the
Social work.
social
Yeah.
work? I for some reason sociology kept wanting to come out, and I'm like, no. But
Sociology is my degree.
yeah.
So I when I was in college, I ended up getting the degree in sociology because my friend was, hey, come take this class. It's really fun. You're good with people. I think you'd really enjoy it. So I'm like, okay, because I was talking about options of not just getting my dance degree because I was wondering where that would take me.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I took that class, and then after I was like, I really enjoy the study of people, and I ended up getting all A's and B's, and so I got my degree in that. And I didn't actually do social work right out of college. I worked for the airlines as a supervisor at Alaska Airlines. So that was super fun, but that's still working with people. And but anyways, I've been doing social work here in Idaho for about 10, 12 years. And I was able to utilize my degree doing that. But my passion is actually acting, but studying with people, I get to learn a lot of different behaviors and really study and take on different characters based off the people that I see out in the field, and just communicating. I think that's why I love acting so much, because I love interacting with people, and I can grab those pieces and maybe tell their story. So, because everyone has a unique and a story that should be shared, and I would love to share those stories on behalf of everyone. that I meet. So, yeah.
For sure. So within social work, what has, I guess, the ups and downs? Do you find it's more on the challenging, kind of like not quite heartbreak, but on the emotional side versus, I'm sure it's satisfying, but we often hear with social work, there's a lot of just, hardship out there for people, individuals, families, children. How is that experience for you, and how does it land, and how are you able to sort of release it so you don't bring it with you?
Yeah, that's a good question. So it's just like life. It goes up and down. So there's moments of, oh my gosh, I love this job because I have an influence on maybe this child, or I can help guide them. Maybe they don't have the guidance that is surrounding them, the support, and I can be that support for them and help them and show them that, hey, this is possible. You can do this. Then there's moments where it goes down, and maybe someone is having a really mental challenge, and I have to redirect them and look at the positives. So sometimes it is hard, but I learned over the years that I can't take that home. So I am really good about not shutting it off like I don't care, but I have to, as for me to be stable. And I have a wonderful family myself. I just knocked my pen over, sorry. I have a very supportive husband, and I raised 2 beautiful children that were really supportive. And so when I would come home from work, or when I do come home from work, I have a stable life. And sometimes I can vent on what my day was, or anyways, it's important, I think, for someone who has my type of job to have a stable support from myself, and someone that I can share my worries with, or whatever.
Sure.
But doing acting and all that other stuff is how I release. I mean, I love to dance, and that movement and making your body move releases a lot of energy and like endorphins, and it makes a person more positive, just, like exercise or walking or just being with my dogs. But acting is another way of just getting out of my head that I am in social work. It's like I wear so many different hats. I have a social work hat, and serious and helpful, and come home, I put my mom hat on, and here's dinner, and I love you, and how's your day, and or my white hat, and being supportive with my husband. And then I have my acting hat, which I love to wear, because then I can be anybody I want, and I'm totally out of my mind, and that gets me out of my the worries that I have in my life of whatever's going on. But yeah, so acting and exercising and dance, those are all my releases.
So your form of like meditation, and you just a more physical form, versus, because everyone is different. I hear a lot, because there's this big push now with, try to go into that silent space, and what I find fascinating is that doesn't work for everybody. For some need more of a physicality, more of a eyes open, need to be present in a different form, not quite in a room sitting on
so
a,
true.
you know.
Yeah. Whenever I close my eyes, I get so busy with my thoughts. I'm like, where am I?
Yeah.
You're right. Having your eyes open and meditating in another way is really helpful. That's what I channel a lot from myself.
Yeah, because sometimes that's when I can see how that can clear actually the mind, because you're not having to create an image and fight against the thoughts with your eyes closed. You're literally looking, and nothing's coming in because you're just focusing on what's in front of you, whether it's a tree, whether it's whatever it is, you know, someone performing, being with someone. It's all really beautiful.
Yeah, yeah. You know, I've never heard anybody say that. That is so spot on. Yeah, that is how I do it myself.
Well, go ahead. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, that's how I would prefer the whole meditation part. I would prefer to have my eyes open and interacting with the energy around me.
Because the way you were describing it, that's the visual that came up. A lot of times when I just interact or talk or hear something, I get visuals a lot. And so like a picture will form. And I'm just, the way you're saying it is just so peaceful. Like I can picture the serene. It's just a beautiful summer day. Very, not quiet. There's life, but it's just peaceful. And like the way the rays and the sun falls down with the trees and like a sidewalk. And it just... So I can imagine that's a very beautiful space to be.
Yeah.
And I can do kind of both. In the beginning, though, I did meditate with my eyes open. I couldn't close my eyes because it felt really weird, and I felt like I was going in just being taken in a whirlwind, and like I was moving somehow. I'm like, no, control. Oh. You know, start cleaning. Oh, I know what to do here. No, but, you know, and meditating with the eyes open, it just felt, there was something calm about it. And then, you know, I wanted to challenge myself to do the eyes closed, and the thoughts is the biggest challenge I hear, you know, and that's something that is often expressed just in that push and movement for meditation, that there's, more of a deeper explanation of it's okay to have the thoughts there, but it's okay to have them there, but it's also hard because they get in the way, because you really are trying to like focus, and then, you know, your brain's like, oh, that looks really juicy, and then it starts going on and then all of a sudden 30 minutes and the bell's on, you're like, what did I just do? Like you feel tired. I'm like, but I didn't want to think about Real Housewives. I really I wanted to wait till Thursday to watch them. No, I'm joking.
That's funny.
You know, but but that's wonderful. You've got a great support system at home when you come, and then you have a great outlet to go and perform. So there's a really lovely balance there.
Yeah, I feel really lucky and blessed to have that. So
that's awesome.
It happens for a reason, they say.
Yeah, for sure. And what you put out there, you know, tends to kind of bounce back. Lot of light and love.
Yeah.
So hold on, yes, oh good. I thought, oh my goodness, I knew I printed out the right one. I was looking at the next question here, and I'm like, wait a minute, because it's a fun question, and so it threw me off because everything always has to be so serious. No fun. But what was your favorite thing to do as a kid, and how did it influence what you enjoyed doing as an adult?
Well, I grew up on a farm, kind of. Well, we had a lot of land. We had some cows, and I had a lot of cats, about 20 cats. So anyways, I don't know why I even bring that up, but...
well, were they like...
animals.
Were they like barn cats or outside indoor cats?
Oh, they are all outside cats.
Yeah.
So, everybody always gave me cat things for my birthday because they knew I loved cats.
Aww.
I don't want just cats. Anyways.
That's awesome.
But I grew up in a musical family.
Yeah.
We had like a little family band, and we would travel around Tillamook, a small town, and play for certain events and stuff. So I used to be the person on the percussions, or I would sing. And so I started that at a young age, and I think that is where really I started performing. Although at that age, I was kind of embarrassed, like, oh my God, my family who's here, people in my school, do I see anybody I know? But I loved it. I loved playing the music, I loved doing that. It was so fun. So I have a big musical background, and I think that that's how music flows through my bodies, because it started at such a young age. My sister Lisa's, she's very, very, she got the God's gift. So she's like, plays the cello, plays the piano, plays everything. She's just, you ask her to play something on the piano, she does it. So, but I grew up in a home that constantly had music playing. And I was always dancing, or I was playing too, or singing. I love to sing. I thought I was going to be like Madonna, a big singer on stage or something.
Yeah.
That's why I went into dance into college, and then that led me to say, well, I just really love performing, and then I got the social work, and now I love people, and I love animals, and here I am now, and I just really like the flow that I have going on now, that created me at a young age, and now I'm just loving people and loving the arts and loving to perform still. So
that's wonderful. I really love how just having that musicality in the family really does help, and so it kind of just allowed that environment to grow what was already there in you.
Yeah.
And the different avenues that it really sounds like you go with the flow, like, heck, this seems right, so you go that direction, and if it's not working, then you just allow yourself to go in all the different veins of the experience that the musicality lets you.
Yeah, sometimes I get frustrated because I do have big hopes and dreams, and I have to remember to be patient.
Yeah. What's one of your hopes and dreams? You're one of the biggest ones.
Well, I'm waiting for my SAG card to come to me. I do acting, of course, and so one big thing to be on the big films or be casted in one of those big things is to have your SAG card in order for someone to represent you and someone to promote you and cast you in those things. So I'm just waiting for that to come.
Yeah.
And it's at the universe's time, because I'm auditioning for everything that comes my way. I try not to let anything slip past me. So
yeah. If
I'm the one that's picked, then I know that it's the right timing, and my SAG card will come, and then I can move on to the next step. So that's I get impatient though.
Yeah. Well, that's good. And then, of course, practicing your Oscar speeches in the mirror. Right? And then also practicing, right? And then sitting on a couch, of course, because talking with Oprah, right? Like answering the questions, she's going to ask you, and you're just like, want to make sure you're prepared for all those moments.
Exactly.
That's fantastic. I have every confidence that it will come, and that's exciting. That will be exciting as that comes into fruition as well.
Yeah. So just baby steps, I guess. Just waiting for the opportunities to come my way, and I just, like you said, it comes, and I just take. I never let anything pass by, because I want to know that I put my all into it. So
right, that at least you tried.
Yeah.
And open to anything.
I don't want to be on my deathbed saying, I didn't do anything. You know what I mean? I tried.
It's like your last breath, and you're like, I should have went for that audition.
I know. Back in 2020.
Why didn't I? I could have. My SAG card was one performance short.
I know, right?
That's good. And what's really great is that openness to not be. It doesn't sound like you sit and analyze what opportunities do come. You're not worried whether they're right or wrong. You're just going to try them. And you're not afraid. I'm not hearing any like fear or intimidation or nope, I'm just going to get in there and see sort of what happens.
Kind of like when you long, like you asked me to do this, and I'm like, well, the universe brought it to me. So yeah, I don't get scared. I just, if it comes to me, then that's meant to be. So
that's fantastic. Well, you were, when I made my list of, because there's so many amazing women here just in Nampa, Boise, Meridian, and I'm like, Laura, number 2, 3. Like, it's, because I remember when we worked together, and then of course I'm thinking, like, are they going to say yes? Are they going to, do they have time? Are they even interested? So, I really appreciate how, as females, we can kind of support each other in all the different avenues.
I love it. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So that ability to be, I'm curious about that groundness and strength that you have within you, not to be intimidated or afraid to take on just sort of what's presented to you. Where did that come from? Was it always something that was within you, or was it something that kind of flourished and grew, and you kind of grew into that sort of strength and groundedness?
When I look back on pictures of myself as a little girl, she seems so sweet and quiet and innocent. But I know what she's gone through. I mean, that little girl has a story to tell throughout her life. And I can see that what happened with myself as a young child and growing up, and how certain things that happened in my life has prepared me for who I am today. And that being one, standing up to people and finding my voice, and looking up to my sister and watching her have her voice, and like, wow, she said something, I can say something. And so just being more vocal, and then being on stage as a dancer, I always wanted to be the front and center, and I felt, I was always the confident one, but I loved that front and center position. I hated I never wanted to be in the back, and I was going to make sure people knew I wanted to be in front, because I wanted to share my gift of entertaining and dance. And so that being on stage and just controlling that fear when you're about to go on in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go, like, here we are.
Right.
And so that prepared me as well. And now that as I got older, I want to be in as many acting projects as I can. And at first I was like, I have to be this way, I have to be that way, I have to be perfect, da 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 da. And now I'm just like, I don't even care. Here I am. I just either you love me or you don't.
Right.
And even like in my acting classes, I just let go, and I let go of who I am so I can be that character. And it's just so fun for me to be so vulnerable. It's almost like ripping your skin off and say, either you love me or you don't, and here's what I can do. This is my talent for the world, and this is it. So either you love me or you don't. I don't care. I mean, I do care what people think to an extent.
Right.
But you have to be vulnerable, and I don't know. I just am. I guess I just learned through patterns of my life of not caring what other people think. Not making. I do care. I don't know how to.
I understand what you mean.
I do care, but I don't care. Like, either you love me or you don't. Here I am. I think we all have insecurities at some point, and when I was in my earlier stages of life, I had a lot of those. And I think what my kids did for me was help me see that you can still be yourself, and people are accepting, and you're kind of living in your head. And my kids, I'm sure they lived in their head too, but they taught me that you don't always have to be in there.
What I really love hearing, especially when you talk about your kids and what you're able to draw sort of and learn from them, is it really is a little bit different than even what I experienced growing up, being with children are seen and not heard, and how, I chose to do differently and really look with my kids I see myself more as a coach and a guide, not this figure where you have to do what I say. I know what's best. I'm telling you what you should do. I expect you to follow because I know better, but rather to see them who they are as people. And through that process, then I can accept who I am as a person too, because there's that construct, where as we grow, and it looks exactly like this, you just carry it or not. And so I love that, because hearing more of that, I think parenting that way, like you're describing, and journeying with your kids is essential in creating more openness and just understanding and getting out of our head.
Yeah.
You know, that's wonderful. So talk about one of your favorite projects that you've done.
Favorite projects. Well, as far as acting or
Any, it doesn't matter. I mean, it could be through whether it's your social work, whether it's performance, whether it's acting, whether it's wherever it might be, whatever that project looks like to you.
I think.
And then what made it your favorite?
When I first started the I-48s, that was kind of a new thing for me because it was so quick and just we have to make a film in 48 hours and here's your part and here's your lines and figure it out and we're working it all together, but it is kind of like, oh my gosh, here I am, and you want to do the best that you can. So that was very exciting for me. It was one of my favorite projects because it was so new and I knew a lot of people from the Actors Workshop, but it just felt like the family grew and I met even more people on those little projects. But that's where that was the I-48 where I won the Best Actress Award. Really instilled confidence in me and support from the community, and so that was a project that I really loved doing, and one thing that I reflect back on and where it kind of started here in Idaho.
Mm-hmm.
But so I can't think of other projects, but I just recently did an acting class with Katrine McGregor. And
Yes.
I know it wasn't necessarily a project, but
Yeah.
I had to do this one scene that was very emotional, and I felt like I did a great job at that, but she asked me to do it as a 5-year-old child. And
wow.
That was just this last May. And so that was so wonderful, like for me. I just loved playing an adult as a child. I felt kind of like I was tapping into that schizophrenia a little bit, and what I see from some clients that I worked with, so I could hone in, bring that into the play, and kind of tell their story. So that was just a recent project. I don't know if you call it a project because it was an acting class.
Yeah, but it totally fits.
It was extremely fun for me, and that's when I was like, oh my gosh, I need more of this, please, universe. I need my SAC card. I'm ready. But so that was a recent thing that I did.
And thank you for your patience. When I ask questions and I'm listening, I see little nuggets that I want to dive more into. So if it feels like we're dissecting something more and more, and you're like, there's something more, like I'm just curious and want to know. So I appreciate you being patient as I'm like still cutting into each of the questions, because there's so much good stuff that you're sharing. In this one, I remember in the actor's workout, there was one time when you were given a scene, and I forget what it was. I just remember your performance on it, and it was clear you did your homework, you really thought about it, because I was so moved by the performance. Gosh, when it was probably 2015 or 2014, 2015. It was after the I-48, definitely after that one, after the Blind Steel one. So somewhere in between, maybe 2014 or 15, we were at the Alaska, and at the Alaska Center over there on Main. And it was, the scene had to do with the child, like tell me where my child is, or bring back my child, or, I want to know. And there was this pause in a moment in the scene where the actor that you're acting against gave his line, and then there was just this long pause, and you can like feel your emotion, and I could see things were happening, and then the way that you just like pierced that line out, like it was meant to pierce at him, the urgency and the demand, give me back my child, where's my child, as a mother would, And so I always enjoy watching those type of performances because you learn from just all different performers and actors. So I always enjoyed watching your scenes just to see what nuggets could be pulled out and learned from, so.
Thank you. Those classes were so fun.
Yeah.
I love acting classes.
It's too bad COVID kind of hit, and then, they had to expand. It makes sense. Once you get bigger, you have to expand, and then they moved into the next center, and of course they had to start, charging in a different way, and it's just a bummer. I wish kind of we could go back, just because we have to reset because of COVID. I would love if we could go back to just kind of the way it was and just start growing from there again.
Yeah, that was so fun.
Because I feel like even in those, we could do like 1 or 2 minute scenes, and then there's Instagram videos, there's TikTok, like those could be put up on there. There's opportunity. I don't know there, but
yeah,
I don't know if Matt would, Brandon would be up for trying again. They've probably got a full schedule too, and they've shot in a different direction.
Right. Yeah.
I'm sure. So then, what with your favorite project? What was one of your least favorite projects you did, and what made it not fun? And how were you able to kind of push through it?
I can't really just say there was ever a least favorite project, because for me, every project that I do, even though maybe I'm not like really liking it so much, I try to learn from it, and I try to see the good and how it changed me or helped me move forward. So it's hard for me to pinpoint maybe one project that was my least favorite. I do have to say I'm not a big fan of acting in the middle of the night, in the cold, when it's like 20 degrees out. I've done that, and that's not my favorite thing to do, but I always try to find, like you said, those gold nuggets of what good can I pull out of this, and what am I learning here? So, because that helps me on my next chapter.
Mm-hmm. So. And then that a pop-up that came, as you were saying, you also do modeling as well. So how did that sort of fold in with all of your performances and creative work you do?
Yeah, I love telling stories, and so my favorite kind of modeling is dressing up and being different people, or playing a vintage person, or playing a Viking, or so many different roles that I played modeling. But I seriously, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's a gift or a curse. I love being in front of the camera. I don't know why, but I love making those facial movements and playing that role, and to show people, different looks of who I could be. And I don't know, it's just really, really fun for me. So whenever someone says, "Hey, can you model for this?" I'm like, yes. And I would prefer almost the conceptual photography. I love doing modeling for like lotion and stuff. That's really fun. I'm a spokesperson for Corina and Laura, and she's
nice.
Anyways. But it's fun doing that stuff too.
Yeah.
But I love playing roles and dressing up in costumes or big huge ball gowns or something. I don't know. It's just really fun. It's another outlet.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really speak and use my voice, but I speak in another way. I tell a story with my facial movements, or the way I'm moving my body. I don't know. It's just another way of expressing myself.
And what was one of your favorite shoots that you did?
I would say, oh my gosh, there's so many I love.
Mm-hmm.
Like, man. I think maybe one of my favorite ones is because we actually got out of town. We went up to Stanley, Idaho, where the big Sawtooth Mountains are, and we did a Viking shoot. And so I felt like I was literally a Viking. And I had someone, Unique, did my hair so uniquely. And,
I like that you said that.
Yeah, the wardrobe was just so like authentic looking, and we were all staying in a cabin for a couple nights, and then we'd go out and shoot during the day, and everyone else was dressed up, and we had these big bow and arrows. I just felt like I was a Viking, and I played that part. And so when they took my picture, I was a Viking. And, I was it, Anyways, yeah, it was so fun. So I'd have to say maybe that was one of my top 10 because it got me out of my home. I got to stay somewhere, in a nice cabin in a beautiful area. But then I got to play a role, so it was just magical. Got to meet a lot of new people too. But there was a lot of modeling that I love to do. I have so many pictures; it's insane. I don't even know what I'm going to do with them all.
That's fantastic. That's great to have a collection.
It's like a train. I can't stop. I can't.
Well, you can pass them on to your kids, and then your kids' kids.
Yeah.
Like, look at Grandma. Look how awesome Grandma was. Great Grandma. And then
putting them all in a book or something just to have them somewhere, because right now they're just on my computer and there's millions of photos. So
totes. That would be a really good thing to do.
Yeah, that I love to do.
Yeah. That's a smart thing to do, just because to have a backup, because you never know. Like technology, it can easily be wiped away, like with everything going Wi-Fi and everything like that. But to have hard copy, there's something tangible about it.
Right. Yeah.
That's really good. That's fantastic. I saw I remember seeing the Viking pictures because we became friends back in the Actors Workout. When I had Facebook, I had to unfortunately close it down for security reasons. But I remember when those, and I'm sitting here like, careful, Corina, don't like to me. Don't be like the stalker. Like, calm down. Like, really, they did turn out very beautiful, and you could clearly see that performance that you're talking about was there, with everybody sort of in the scene, and you could clearly see like I'm a badass Viking.
Yeah.
Female Viking.
I just wish that there was a video and a movie playing it so I can really tell the story.
Yeah.
I mean, I love modeling, but I just love telling stories. So.
Within telling stories, has writing or script writing or just short story, book writing, any of that piqued your interest as well alongside that? And is that something you're exploring?
Yeah. See, I had someone tell me, "Oh, you should write this. You should write your story." And so I always kind of push that aside, but it actually has been coming up. And so I think that I'm going to just dabble in it maybe this summer and kind of take a shot and see how that feels. Because I don't have anything that's like, I have to do this. I have to write. And I've never really written a script or anything, but there is something that I think I'm going to write and I hope maybe have it filmed, and I don't know. We'll see.
That's fantastic.
I do have a story. It's my story in the back of my head.
Yeah.
Mixed with other people's stories that I've heard over the years. So I don't know. I'll take a stab at it, and I'll see how that feels. So I don't know.
Another vain sort of road to try out and travel and add another hat.
Yeah, I know, right?
That's fantastic. That's wonderful. So with being, female, and what I really enjoy with this question is getting everyone's perspective when it comes to the experience in the creative projects as a female versus male counterparts or as a male. And I think it's really important to get all different perspectives. Some don't have, their experience, maybe they didn't have to deal with as much misogyny or just different type of challenges with male partners or just their counterparts, whether it's with pay or that sort of thing, and others have. And I think it's just really good to get everybody's experience, because not all women go through the same thing in the same way. So for you, how is the experience in creative projects as a female compared to your male colleagues and counterparts?
To be honest, I really feel like I have never been in a position where, like, every part that I've had a lead. And that's just my experience. So I haven't really had that position where I'm looking at someone like, geez, I should be playing that part, or why didn't they cast it as a female role? Because they did cast me as that female lead role. In fact, the last movie that I did, I was actually the female role, and my character was the supporting husband of a female heroine.
Yeah.
So that was fun to be a part of, and it was like a Mission Impossible movie action. So super fun. But yeah, I haven't really experienced that feeling of how come I'm not getting casted as a female. I don't know. I've always had that come to me as being casted as the female lead. So
Have you ever been treated differently on set, or have you had to work maybe more and got paid less that you're aware of? Have you ever experienced anything like that in anything, regardless of whether it's creative or while you were in school or growing up or that sort of thing?
Oh, well, in acting, I just have not felt that.
Mm-hmm.
But in other places that I've worked, I have felt that. Being a supervisor at an airlines, there was times and meetings or whatnot. I felt like someone's words or their opinion was a little more accepted than maybe what I had to say, and not really seeing what kind of voice I may have had. Although I think that company wanted to feel that way and expressed, and they were trying and stuff, but yet it was always there in the background, that men were just a little bit more important with the opinion and where we're going with the company. So.
And what I appreciate is that in the creative aspect, it doesn't sound like that really occurred in terms of whether their opinion was, more taken or appreciated, which oftentimes you do sometimes find, or there are stories that women experience where, they're just there for that figure, for that female figure. There's not really a story behind it. They're there more as an arm to the male character,
Right.
and her voice, whether it's in the story or whether it's her own voice, is not as important as the male counterpart or the male character.
Yeah.
So that's really good.
Yeah, I haven't felt that here in Idaho yet. I just haven't, so I can't speak on how that would, on that behalf of it. But yeah.
So when it happened in the in more of the corporate, because both are professional, I think creative and whether you have a 9 to 5, it's both professional, in my opinion. But in the corporate, how did you overcome that? How were you able to make sure your voice was heard when you sensed that undertone that you described?
I always try to choose my battles and pick what is important, because as a woman, you don't want to be seen as, sometimes you feel like if you have a voice, you kind of raise it a little bit and get yourself in there, and you can be seen as someone, I don't know how to say it, but kind of bitchy or,
Yeah.
like, I don't know. So I chose my battles, but when I knew that maybe there was a different direction that the company could come in, I made sure that I voiced how I felt.
Mm-hmm.
And they were very accommodating and very nice, but it's almost like a systematic internal thing that they don't need to do. I think it was intended to make a woman feel pushed aside with her voice. But you can always tell, like in my position, that when a male counterpart was speaking, that it was more heard. So I think just for me, in the position that I was in, I just kept trying and kept voicing. I wasn't like, oh, I'm going to sit back and not be heard because that's what they want. No, I'm kind of a fighter. Like I want to be heard. Just like anybody else does. But I'm not going to be like, okay, never mind. No, They hired me as a supervisor, abilities in that matter, and so I do have a voice, and I do like to share it, but I do choose my battles, and I am careful of being diplomatic, so that I can be heard. Because if I'm not diplomatic about it, or if I'm pushy or whatever, as a woman, you get construed as something else, and then you're not. If you know what I mean.
I do.
It is kind of a game, but I think the game's getting better. Maybe, I don't know. Like, a lot of things have come out to where the game's not maybe as hard as it was back then. But
Do you think it will like ever truly, because two steps are taken forward, one is taken back, especially when it comes, because a woman's right, regardless at what level it is and what the right is, whether it's a voice in the room or whatnot, impacts all diversity type of rights, regardless of what different rights it is, and vice versa. So it's just, do you think that we'll ever get at that where we take steps forward and continue moving forward and not going back because there's a group of individuals that don't like the fear of power being lost?
Mm-hmm. I do feel that I always have hope, and I do feel like we can definitely get to a spot, and I think we've come a long ways, but I mean, we have taken 2 steps back recently, in my opinion, but I also feel like those 2 steps back that we took helped everyone analyze, okay, what is happening here, and who am I, and what am I doing, and self-reflective, to where when we do move forward, it'll be a little bit more eyes open with a lot of people, even for my own self, like, how am I treating others, or am I doing this, so 2 steps back, I think is a good time for a lot of people to self-reflect, but I think it makes you stronger moving forward, and I think we're just constantly doing that as a human race, moving back, but then now we're going to go forward, and what's good, and I believe in humanity and in kindness, and I think most people feel the same way that I do. Just there's a few people that help us take a step back so that we can open our eyes, maybe.
Yeah.
But I believe that we all have the same track of being kind to each other and making it a better world.
Yeah. That's so true. That is so, so true. I love what you said. And so with that, what's one of the most difficult scenes that you've had to perform that was really challenging? You spoke a little bit about an emotional scene you did with Katrine. I want to make sure I say her name correctly. And there was that in the sort of workshop exercise. How about one that you performed, whether it was an I-48 or even dance, and what made it sort of challenging, and how did you sort of be able to, okay, I got this, I can get through it?
So, yeah, I don't know why I keep going back to thinking about actual auditions.
Good.
And I'm just saying that because it seems like that is my most challenging thing, because sometimes I don't get the whole script, and so I'm not sure, so I have to pick the tiny little script that I in my mind and really visualize it and all that, and you do all this hard work for 2 little lines, and then you don't get casted, but you spent like maybe a week of diving in and dissecting and becoming that character and memorizing the lines, and then you don't get the part, which is fine. It's not meant to be, whatever, and it's a learning experience. But I have to say those are the most challenging ones, is pouring your heart and soul into all this acting for one little audition that's maybe they're just going to push a button, play, nope, she's not right, and just delete the rest of it, even though they didn't watch the whole thing, and I poured my heart and soul into it. It's like, that is frustrating and challenging, because sometimes you're just like, another audition, I'm happy, yes, thank you, universe, I'm so happy, yay, but oh my gosh, if I don't get this, I know all the work that I want to put into it, so that I'm pouring my heart and soul into it, and then I don't end up getting it, and it's like, okay, whatever. It's a good experience. I always see it as good experience, but yeah, there's a lot of things that I've done in acting, modeling, and dance and stuff, but when you ask me that, the challenge, it's like, I don't know why I keep going back to just the simple auditions.
Yeah. Well,
I take them seriously.
Yeah, but that too, but also what you described is like so perfect. It's the amount of work you put in, and it's not a guarantee of the outcome that you'll be selected, or the scene will fit what they're looking for, or however it is. And there's a lot of no's before there's a yes, so that's a challenge, and not a lot of people can have endurance to continue pushing forward to get to that yes. So how do you keep that endurance going to get to those yeses?
Right, that's a good question. I have to remind myself I love doing this, and so when I get a new script, I'm so excited. Hey, Laura, you got an audition. Da da da. It's due on. I get it on Friday. It's due on Sunday. Da da da. It's a 5-page script. Oh my gosh, seriously?
Yeah.
I got this. This is what I want to do. This is what I love. I love acting. I do. Which, I'm doing it because I love it, but my family's like, what are you doing? And why? I can't help it. This is my dream. And so what keeps me going is the fact that I love expressing myself. I love telling stories. And so I know that this is just one more story toward the direction of my dream, which is to be in a big film and tell people stories.
Yeah.
So it's just, and if I don't take this, well, Laura, if you don't do this, then it's just one missed opportunity. You have to, when it comes your way, the universe, God's going to help you. He brought you to it. He's going to bring you through it. It's okay.
Yeah.
And I found a way to manage my life with family and my passion. So, and I have very supportive family. So that's a huge plus. If I didn't, I can see why people give up on this. It is, you don't get paid to do auditions. You don't get paid to do, in fact, you're paying to get headshots. You're paying other people to videotape you or whatever. You're putting money out there yourself, and you don't get it back a lot of times. But
yeah,
look, I get to do commercials here and there, and sometimes they pay really well. So that's nice when that happens. But
yeah, that's fantastic.
I'm waiting for the day when I get paid to do movies. Like, that's my dream.
Yeah,
I want to do so.
And it's great. You're building those bricks to get that beautiful sort of creation. So
yeah,
that's fantastic. I love that. And then, so with having a supportive family, kind of makes me think, with COVID, how has you and your family sort of coped with COVID? How are you all working through it and coming out on the other side?
Yeah, it's been challenging for a lot of people. I feel very lucky and blessed. I have a job that was allowed me to do telehealth for a while, so I was able to communicate like this with my clients, and I was able to do work from home. I ended up getting COVID last June, so it was pretty early on, before the vaccine was even out.
Oh, wow.
And so that really scared me, but
yeah, I
was blessed. It came very easy. I was done with it in a couple days, and
good.
Just self-quarantined, but my husband got it too, and really thankful that we both made it through.
Good.
And being an essential worker, meaning I have to go out in the field and be with clients and stuff. I was able to get the vaccine early on, so I'm fully vaccinated. I feel a lot of weight lifted off after that.
Yes, safe.
I actually shot film during COVID, so that was super fun. I was glad I was able to do that.
Good.
I did a commercial during, the COVID as well. Everything was in a safe manner and planned out, but it wasn't the beginning stages, kind of towards the end. But yeah, it was. Yeah, it's been good to me. I know it's been bad for a lot of people, but I feel like I'm very lucky. So
able to sort of keep pushing through it,
yeah,
even if little bumps came along.
Yeah.
Awesome. I'm very glad. And I'm glad that you and your husband, that it didn't, you were able to kind of work through that and it didn't land heavily.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Same.
Yeah. And then, so I want to hit on your kids a little bit. I love the way that you talk about them and your connection and relationship with them. So with them becoming adults, if I stalked, it's because I love watching everybody's journey. When I had Facebook, I really enjoyed seeing. But your son is an adult now, and I believe your daughter is almost an adult. Is that correct? She's still in high school, or has she graduated?
Yeah, she graduated last year, 2020.
Okay.
But yeah,
so both.
she's now 19 and my son is 20.
Oh, fantastic. Oh, what good ages. My kiddo's 18 and 22. So she'll be 19 in August. So that's awesome.
Okay. Yeah.
And then, so what are your biggest joys and concerns about them as they're really getting into their adulthoods? And then how are you transitioning with them into adulthood? Because the dynamic of the relationship changes, and it already sounds like you had a really good sort of grounding and foundation and connection in terms of seeing them as people and individuals. And how are you transitioning with that into their adult?
Yeah, no, my kids are amazing human beings, and I'm so proud of them. I just love who they are. They are my best friends. So raising them, obviously, you're the mom, and but I really tried to cultivate a lot of independence in them, and help them, like, whenever there's an issue, what are options here to help out. So they really were able to have an open mind of, wait, how can I solve this issue or problem? And I try to instill them being kind to others and really including people, because I'm a big people person. I know how it feels to be on the other side, and so I really tried to help them be very independent, outgoing, but yet caring, because I wanted them, when they were as an adult, to be good citizens of society. And I had no doubt in my mind they would be, but I just tried my best. I mean, no parent is perfect, and we've had our issues too, but I tried to be the best parent that I knew how to be, and I knew that was a calling in my life, is to be a mom. So I feel like I did my best, and but I'm so proud of who they are. And I kind of forgot what the question was.
Oh no, that's totally no. You're totally hitting on it. So, and one thing too that I find fascinating as with my kiddos as they're really heading into adulthood is, as they become those independent, like you're talking about with your kids, and finding their, continuing to cultivate and find their voices and grow, and how their opinions change and how they think and approach things changes. And it's just sitting on the outside and sort of watching them and how they navigate through that. That impacts sort of also, the communication between as a parent and the child, and how do you navigate that? They're sort of still discovering that voice and who they want to be, and you're offering all this great sort of guidance and be kind, and then that part of that independent that you've instilled in them, how is that sort of connection and relationship where whether it's they're voicing a strong opinion or you have different views on a topic, and how do you come to sort of agree to disagree, or maybe agree, or everyone shares those same approaches, thinking, or values?
Well, my kids both have a very strong grasp on who they are and what they see around them, and I always try to make sure that they, whatever issue that they have, to be well educated so that they can talk about it, instead of just opinions. Really try to be educated so that when you do talk, you look like you know what you're talking about.
Right.
But I'm really proud of my kids, and when we have certain conversations about politics or whatever, what's going on, or vaccines, or what's going on in the world, I myself try to be that example of listen to them, have them listening to each other, because that's how conversations happen, how we can learn from each other if there's a difference in opinion, and I always say seek first to understand and then be understood. So I really try to, as an adult with my adult children, mimic that, so that be that role model of, that sounds good, and listening, and I understand, and I can see what you're saying, and helps them feel like they have a voice. And so but here's what I feel, and then maybe they'll go, oh, okay, it's just, so I feel like we are all on a really good plane of just communicating, because I kind of helped, my husband and I instilled that throughout our years, and so as adult kids, it just seems like they're just our best friends, and we can talk about anything, and we don't let things hinder our relationship based off a political view or whatever,
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Totally. And the transition, because I always find it fascinating. I didn't experience this in the transition with my kids going into adulthood, like each phase where they went from a toddler to 10 years old to 12 to like each particular phase, like I welcomed, because I was excited for how are they growing and becoming, Did you experience, and I hear from a lot of women, they are like, oh, I wish they were back when they were 5. And did you experience that as well? Or were you just kind of walked with them as they went and you just embraced each phase of their growing?
When I went all the way from when I first found out I was pregnant, I knew that was my first chapter.
Yeah.
And each chapter I just really tried to enjoy and do my best.
Yeah.
And I had times where I messed up as a mom, or maybe said something that wasn't very nice in one of those chapters, but I know that I tried my best, and I knew that chapter was short, and so I knew that I had to do my best and be the best mom that I can be, and I really tried. That was my calling, so I tried each chapter. And there's times, now like, oh my gosh, I wish I can just have my little boy and little girl and just love them, and maybe just, I always told them that I loved him and kissed him and did everything, so I know I couldn't have done better in those areas.
Right.
Just to feel them again,
Yeah.
So,
just kind of hold them and squeeze them.
Yeah.
Even
I love the chapter that we're in right now.
Yeah. It's like, embracing them as individuals. It makes me think when Estera was in that depths of her teens, 15, 16, she still had and she's kind of growing out of them a little bit because she's still 18, 19, but she had those cheeks, and I just couldn't help it. Like, I would always be like, oh, I just want to eat you. I want to eat your cheeks. And she's like completely like, oh my gosh, like, what are you, like, who are you? Like, what mom wants to eat her kid? I'm like, listen, ask any mom. Like, their kids are so cute. Even if you're 16, like, if you've got cute cheeks, you can't help but like, and you want to squeeze them and just, squeeze, just give them all the love, but like squeeze out all the cuteness, so you can like put it in a bottle and carry it with you. Yeah, type of thing. But my favorite is her reaction, like, oh my, what mom wants to eat her kid? And I can't wait, because if she chooses to have kids, and if she and then I'm gonna be like, how does it feel?
Now you know.
I know. And then if she has a daughter and her daughter acts the same way, I could be like, see.
I gotcha.
Yeah. That's awesome. So, if you were to mentor sort of girls and women in today's world, where we're at, what advice would you give them on navigating life, like especially here in the U.S.?
Yeah, I actually I do mentor some young girls right now.
Nice.
And it's like, okay, so my kids are outgrown out of the house, and so now I have these other kids that I kind of have on my case as a social worker, but I just love them, and I know that I'm in a position where I can help guide or something with these kids, and so I'm just constantly telling them, pointing out the positives of them, empowering them to know that they have gifts too to share this work on this earth, and you are special because of this and that, and look at what you did. Like, wow, how do you feel about that? Aren't you proud of yourself? Yeah. So I just love empowering and people and young children. A lot of them were refugees or are now U.S. citizens, so their parents, came from different countries, and so they have to learn. These children have to learn themselves what the culture of America,
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Immersed and all that, and so it's a real joy to be able to be that person that kind of helps guide, and I just get so much joy out of being a friend to them. Just and kind of and a mentor. I love empowering them and validating their feelings and their goals and their dreams, because I know what it feels like for someone to validate that. And it's very empowering, and you can do it, and pointing out the good things that they do. So I think that is a real good way of helping them navigate in the United States socially. And I think I help them by knowing that they have gifts to offer, and they're a good person, and everybody has something special to give. And so that's one way I do it.
Awesome. That's fantastic. I love that. And it makes perfect sense that you already mentor females, and probably boys and girls, but but that's wonderful. So then with that, how do we get more female stories written and created and produced? I mean, we can always acknowledge that that's already sort of baby steps are happening in that direction, but how can more, without taking so many steps back, how can we continue pushing forward?
Yeah, there's a lot of wonderful stories about women and who stood up, who spoke out, who struggled, who that can be told, who've conquered a lot of wonderful things. And so I'd really like to tell those stories personally. But anyways, how do we get more stories written? I think just we all supporting each other as human beings, and especially women supporting women. I think empowering them, and not, some women I think get intimidated. I don't know, but I find the most powerful women are those that encourage other women, and I find that the women that are most happy is encouraging other women. So I think that having other women's stories being told is by just helping them tell their stories and empowering them, telling them that they're worth sharing and celebrating with who they are, and promoting them to tell their story. So
wonderful. And then how can we teach men to see women as equals? Because although in the creative aspect, it's refreshing to hear that same experience that maybe you had in the corporate world, you're not experiencing in the creative. How, for those who are, how can maybe we channel that experience and get more of the experience that you're having to more women, where they feel like their voices, they're being included in the conversation in the room, or considered, and that sort of thing? And how can we teach men to see women as those equals, and get them to contribute to the process? Because I'm a big fan that both have to work together. It can't be just a woman thing. Men really can and have the power to create really strong, powerful change, and one way is to partner together with them. So how can we do that?
I totally agree with all that. I think it all, I personally feel for a young girl to feel empowered in this world, it starts at a young age. And I am so thankful that I found a partner, my husband, that could help me raise my children, but particularly my girl. I wanted a strong woman who could speak her mind, and I have a husband that throughout her life constantly encouraged her, listened to her, told her that she had great things to say, told her, lifted her up, and always allowed her to have a voice. And there was issues, let's talk about it. You have something to say, and sharing and listening, encouraging, supporting, and that's why my daughter Charlie is who she is today. She is an amazing leader, and she walks into a room and she has something to share, but she's nice too. She'll listen to you. So she makes me so proud, but I know that it's because we supported her. But for men to support women, I think it starts at a young age as a father, and being a really good dad to a daughter is empowering them and telling them that they're just as equal as my son. My son has a lot of great things to say too. So we are all equals here, and we all have something to give this world. So it starts at a young age, but in the corporate business too. I mean, I think just being aware, as a male, to support other women, to encourage them, to make them feel heard. I think that just as much as it is important for a woman to encourage other women and support them, I think men too. It's just being a nice human being. I feel like we're all just male, female, it doesn't matter. Just be nice to each other, encourage each other, and see what we can all create on this earth. Like, gender shouldn't be an issue. Let's just all encourage each other and see where you're supposed to go and what your talents are. Let's make a wonderful, beautiful place. Eventually, I think we can get there. I mean, I know that there's all that systematic stuff between men and women and genders and not getting paid and all that, but I think that, like we talked about earlier, 2 steps back, reflect, more steps forward. Eventually, for all human beings on all different spectrums, we can all just support each other and encourage, listen, share knowledge, educate each other, and support and love each other. Like, I love what you're doing. Good job. Keep going. And we can be a better world because of that, I think. So,
That's fantastic.
And it can start in our, with one individual, like just being a nice person, just in your own little community, just around those little people that you're with. Just be the best that you can be by encouraging other people. And then maybe that woman will write her stories, or maybe that male will feel like that girl is just as equal as her, and hey, let's create something, and you're great at this, I'm great at that, here we go. I don't know. It shouldn't be anything that separates us as humans, I don't think.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I love what you said. That's so right on. And I did the most recent podcast I posted with Katie. She kind of touched, Katie Preston, she kind of touched on that humanity part of it, where let's see each other as humans. Let's, and sort of gender, let's put gender aside for a second. Let's just be nice. Let's be nice as a human. Let's see each other as human. And it's so interesting, those labels, that label of a gender. Yes, the biology is clearly there. No one's going to, sort of argue that, because the parts look different when you just look at it. But that labeling, when language comes into play, and how that then creates hierarchy and power. But I love the idea of stripping all of that away, and it really is in the end about the humanity. There's so much depth and love there, especially the love that you touch on. It really resonates.
Yeah.
That's good. So one last question, and then I will not take up any more of your time, because you've already given me so much. You've been very gracious.
Very fun.
So talk about the current projects that you're working on. What's sort of happening that you're able to sort of talk about, or upcoming, that we can kind of watch out for?
So I think it's next week. I'm meeting with the I-48 team, so they're starting that up again.
Yes.
In July. So it's kind of put on delay with COVID and stuff, but we're doing it in July instead of June.
Fantastic.
I'm actually working with Brandon Freeman on that, and I don't know what role I'll be playing, because we don't know what we're going to be getting until that night. So let's see what happens. But we're already talking and figuring out a meeting plan of going over writing and what direction on everything. So that's going to be super fun. And there's a couple people in there that I've not met before, so I always look forward to meeting new people and new experiences. So
nice.
Yeah, I'm excited for that.
Fantastic. Then that'll be something to watch out for. I love it because they post it on the website, and then just however the links are shared by everybody in each group and stuff, and so that'll be great. It's something to really look forward to.
Yeah, I'm excited. I love acting, so
yeah, more storytelling and being able to share sort of the human story.
Yeah.
Out there. Wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Laura. I so appreciate your time. I appreciate everything you've shared. And I love another splash of color on the perspective, of a female journey, and making Her Salti Words just that much more flavorful.
Okay, thanks. Bye.
Hey, thanks for hanging out. Remember to subscribe to Her Salti Words and give her 5 stars so that this podcast can grow and reach as many humans as possible. And if you could share, that would be awesome sauce. Last, check out Why You Gotta Be So Salty with an I in salty on YouTube. Click subscribe and like for future episodes. Thanks so much for your time, and I look forward to hanging out next time on Her Salti Words.